for that.
Absolutely. Yeah, John had dealt with colon cancer for years and years already, but when it metastasized to the lung, then that was,
yeah, that's complicated.
yeah.
Well, thank you for letting me know about Dale.
Oh, for sure. And that's what I've done. I've tried to pass that info along several times for people.
Karen said to say hi, and I'll pass that to her.
Oh, good. Yeah.
She's in the swimming.
Well, you guys pretty much know that one warm-up.
Yes.
You've done it for years and years already.
Right.
So what we did last week, because of a question that came up, is we went into a practice that is some standing postures, meditative standing postures. I want to review those for you, and I want to do a couple of Qigong type simple warm-ups today.
I appreciated the standing postures.
Good. Those are really wonderful. And of the teachers that I worked with, those who taught standing postures, those were the best teachers I had. As soon as I saw a class that was doing standing postures, I would go, let's see what the guy's got. And inevitably, he took you into deeper levels of the practice. And I'll give you, for instance, grasping sparrow's tail. You know, we go out with it. Let me take you back to the opening of Tai Chi form. It's such a beautiful place that if you think about channels and energies moving, right? So as the hand comes up, you can go index finger, middle finger, elbows move out a little bit, ring finger, little finger. And now you've got all these energies moving, pulling inward. And then as you go down, you can go little finger, ring finger, index, that Lao Gong starting to come alive again. It's subtle, and it's really subtle, but that's the kind of level that these teachers would talk about, because you stayed in these positions for a little while until you started to actually go, oh, yeah, something more is inside this than just hands come up, hands go down. And when you're breathing in, and we talk about kidney one on the foot, so that as my hands start to come up, I'm going, pull it up, pull it up, pull it up, pull it up. Here's how the kidney channel. Internally, and here. I guess I'm not doing it well enough, but I'm working at it. I'm working at it. Pass some along. But you get to see that as you start to come up, it's easy to find the index finger. It's like, oh, yeah. And there's actually whole Qigong styles of healing where they'll talk about sending Qi through the index finger and one finger Zen. Those kind of ideas come up through the practice. And these were the teachers I worked with, so that when I started working with needles, they went, you're cheating. You already understand this stuff. So you get up to the index finger, then the middle, the ring, and the little finger. And especially, again, the little finger is on the inside, is the heart. Outside is the small intestine. And that small intestine comes up. It's really important when you get to that little finger that you follow it into the scapula area, the upper shoulder area. And then the first point on the heart channel is under the arm. And so you get to that from the back, you get to this from the front, and you go out to the little finger with that energy. So you've now sort of activated several channels along the way. And in the process, especially of getting to the heart. So now we've gone lower dantian, middle, with the opening space under there, so it's not closed off. They talk about this in Aikido as unbendable arm. If you're shooting energy from the earth through a hose out through your fingers. And when you do this properly, anybody feel safe if I just work a bend an arm on them? Let me show you. So if you're shooting water out to the hallway, I can come along and you keep shooting that water out. Keep shooting all the way out to the wall, all the way out. Keep going. There you go, all the way out to the wall. You're not using any strength, are you? No, there's no strength in it. Use strength to hold me from bending your arm. When I come through here, I go back. The chi moves when we allow it to move. And so we go with these stances, and it's not just that the hands are up here, we're waiting for something. It's like we're going, make it happen. So there's this intention that needs to be a part of all of your practice. And so when we do opening of the Tai Chi form, for instance, then what we get to do is go kidney one. That's a nice connection. Putting a whole lot of chi from the earth into those points under the foot. I step off, and when I push that foot down, whoosh, this kidney chi comes up from the earth. And then I raise the other toes, and that foot fills with energy. And I push that one down, and it pushes it all the way up again. So we get this nice movement of left and right, yin and yang, lower and upper, all happening simultaneously with the opening. And then when you start to bring the hands up and you go index finger, middle ring, little finger. As soon as you get to the little finger, you can feel your elbows one move outward. You can feel this movement in the scapula as they go outward and pull out. And then when you draw in, the body goes, it's all mine. And then you run it back down through the whole body. And now you're really using the chi to be part of your practice. But it comes in that very first movement.
And is chi connected to your breath?
Chi is connected to the breath, that we get to work with the inhalation and the exhalation. The inhalation generally is with drawing things inward, and the exhalation is pushing things out. So typically breath comes in, it goes out. I'm in this tension of being able to expand that energy out. Otherwise, and we've said this a little bit, most Tai Chi ends up looking like, and there's no energy there. It's just movement. But if you think about this right from the beginning, pulling that energy up from the earth, pulling it up from the earth, pushing it down, bringing it in, moving it, storing it. Now you're really starting to do that practice.
Some friends invited me for dinner the other night, and they were talking about the classic Pilates, and they were saying that the whole point of Pilates was to develop what they call core strength.
Core strength, sure.
So is that with chi, Tai Chi?
Yes, chi is of the core. It is from the organs. It is from the air that we breathe. It is from the food that we eat. If we had such a thing, there's the character for chi is drawn with these three lines up above. These are the clouds. This is the air. And then inside of that is the character for rice. What you eat and what you breathe is what creates your chi. And so this area of the lower dantian is the small intestine. from the stomach to the small intestine. This is a fire organ in Chinese medicine, as is the heart. They are paired yin and yang. And so you want to have this sense that as you are firing up the lower dantian, that you're drawing that energy up into the heart. And here's that connection from the little finger up to, and then the third dantian, the upper dantian, is from the kidneys to the ear to the brain. We go, just that little movements through the chin, through the back of the neck, gets us to go, whoa, now I'm connected. From one of the Chen style teachers, he explained it like this. This is horse stance. If you ask, oh, wait, just watch this, you don't want to. When you've got the chi moving, you can do this. If the chi is not there, you do this. Chi's there, and it's like, it's a lot explode from within. That's why I take these Chen style movements in my form and go, you know, I want to keep this sense of the chi, the defense, the meditation, the health, this practice. And it becomes so all consuming, all inviting, and so the warm up I want to put you into today is a little bit simple. We used to do this one with other class, rocking on the toes and heels. This is a really lovely one, especially for people who are dealing with balance and leg problems, knee problems, just a sense of peace. We get this movement up and down on the toes and the heels. And as you're on your toes, your arms are back. And on your heels, your arms are forward. So there's a really nice, easy balance that goes on within this. But this is why I say people who have balance issues can find this very, very helpful. So you definitely want to feel the raising up of the heels and the toes. Then you add the breath to this, and you can inhale, inhale, inhale. That's 3 swings. And then exhale, 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 exhale. 4. And so now we're bringing that chi in, and we're making sure that we empty all of the carbon dioxide, all the impurities are out of the body, and then we can begin to fill in with 3 swings. Or if you're comfortable with 3 and 4, then try 4 and 5. See how that feels. You can go to 5 and 6. Just depends on your level of training. But that's the easiest, simplest way to get the whole body to begin to move chi from foot, face. Sometimes you kind of get out here and you go, oh, that. Don't worry about it. Because you're getting such a nice swing sometimes that you're going, oh, this is. Don't worry about this step or anything. It's just part of the practice. But really let those arms go all the way out from the shoulder. There you go. All the way out from the shoulder, and not just from the shoulder, but from this area of the scapula. So I'm reaching a little bit, reaching out a little bit. I'm exaggerating right here for sure, but I can feel that as I'm going forward and back, up and down. The calf muscle in Chinese medicine is said to be the second heart for the body. So when you are doing this, you're helping to pump the blood and the lymph back up to the heart, so the heart doesn't have to do all the work. Wow, now we really got some stuff going in here. So exaggerate that, and sometimes when you're doing it, you can go boom, really hard down and go, whoa, just kind of like shaking the nerves all the way through the body. And if it happens that you have your teeth in a nice position, you'll get a little gentle click, click. That click then goes from the nerve of each tooth back to the limbic area of the brain, this ancient area of the brain, which is your immune system, which is your autonomic nervous system, which also incorporates the area of your memory in your brain. So with some acupuncture points being used with needles, they put people into MRIs and watched what happened in the brain. And they saw this particular area of the brain lighting up: the immune system, the autonomic nervous system, and the memory. So they were treating blood pressure problems and dementia and Alzheimer's and all these things to help the brain.
I didn't practice it, do it automatically.
Right.
And
Right.
I learned that if I was repeating, my blood pressure went down.
Commonly, people start this practice and their blood pressures will go down. Because the other thing is that you're thinking about your feet. And most people think about this part of themselves. And so all the energy gets stuck in these areas. And so when we're doing this, we're guiding the energy downward, out of the head, out of the chest, down into the belly, down into the legs and the feet. And it's very easy then, as I say, in the back to feel that connection to the heart, from the low back to feel the connection to the kidneys and the bladder, and to go down into the knees, to go down into the feet. First and last points on these energy meridians. If you've ever seen charts or the acupuncture dummy who stands there, you know, you've got first point on the large intestine meridian. You've got the points on the pericardium and the triple heater and the heart and the small intestine. So you're, and the lung as we're working with the hands. So you can add on with this same movement then, opening and closing the hand, squeezing, stretching, and exactly that. When you're home, and so you can tell that you're really on some days when the clap is like, and some days you're off and it goes, come on, give me that, yeah, there we go. So you get this wonderful feedback, you get this fun when you're practicing as well. The next part of this, and many of you have experienced this twist, so I'll turn with you, is, and this is where we were playing foot last time, turning and turning with each foot. And then as I turn, the hand crosses over the body and crosses over the body. And same thing, now we can go pat on the left side is spleen and pancreas. Heart's there, lung is there, and they all get to enjoy a little bit of this stimulation. We come to the other side, we've got liver and gallbladder, lung, kidneys. So the back hand is using the back side of the hand is hitting these areas over the kidneys. The kidney in Chinese medicine includes the organ itself and the gland of the adrenal. So the adrenals and the kidneys are all one in Chinese medicine. And so that's what makes the kidneys so vital and vibrant in these practices, which is why we go from kidney up to and to the life. So returning, and this is what we were talking about a couple of times, is that some people will not turn the foot. That's fine. Be aware of your knees. You don't want to force the knee to start to create knee problems. My teachers always made it easy on the knee. Well, all but one of them. And so you got this nice pattern. You can go all the way up to this area is the beginning of the lung channel. This is an area where the liver channel ends, the spleen channel ends. So it's really nice just to get these little pat feelings in the body. And again, stirring up the chi, moving the chi consciously, exciting the chi for the whole body. And the arms are just doing this really big, whoa, out and around, out and around. There's a momentum that comes just in turning the weight. So don't feel like you're just doing the arms. Feel the arms are being propelled outside of the body. Just turn and let the arms swing first. Just feel what that does. You've got this big movement. And so it's in the Chinese vernacular, Wu Wei, I'm doing nothing. And yet, boom, boom, my hands hit the body and the chi moves and the vibration stimulates the organ and stagnation is broken up. I mean, there's so many beautiful thoughts that you can add to the movements. And then same thing, work with the breath. How many times do you swing with an inhalation? Add on one exhalation. And you should be feeling the fingertips now. If you stop, can you feel a little tingle in the hands? Yeah, so now we know that the chi is really moving well through the whole body. Any questions on that? These are nice, simple things to do that you can do, as I say, as a warm-up. Because you're bringing in as much goodness as you can. But typically, most people don't exhale. And so if you consciously add on one more count, it also then causes you to push and empty the lung, move the diaphragm. And there's actually then almost a little pause at the end of, let's say, 3s and 4s, where there's this little pause where you could actually go swing, swing, and then the breath starts to come in again. And so it's creating our usual breathing pattern is something like this, right? In and out, in and out. When we're doing this practice, the breath comes in, the breath goes out. The breath goes in, the breath goes out. So in terms of longevity, the American Indians had a thought that you live as many breaths. There was a certain number of breaths that you are given in your lifetime. And if you're breathing, that's 1, that's 2, compared to that's 1, that's 2. How long are you going to live? Twice as long, hopefully, and twice as healthy, because we know breath is the source of life. So if we just use that sense of breath, and Deepak Chopra talked about this in his meditation work, to say that these areas above, these areas below were your gateways. He didn't say where you were going, but he called them the gateways. So you'll find that you're doing these swings and you finally finish and you just kind of go. Oh yeah, well, let's go back and do some form. And I'm serious, this is very common experience for students with Tai Chi, because you've brought in so much good, clean, refined air and chi that you don't need to, in the next moment, go and do another breath and another breath. The breath is just there, the body is just humming.
I have to tell you that my first couple of classes with you, I was breathing in really deep,
Yeah.
and then you wouldn't say, breathe out, and I'd get dizzy.
Yeah. And this is one of the cautions on these practices, is to be aware that if you start to feel dizzy, that you're pushing too hard. There's no push in this practice. There's no God. It's just the joy and the feeling of your body moving. And if you stop a couple of times just to check in, make sure that you in the beginning with these practices are happy. And we talked about this in terms of if you feel dizzy, where's the best place to be? Whoa, wait a second. I'm okay. I'm okay. And don't get in a rush to get out. We've had this happen a few times. I was teaching the class before where somebody just, that was my signal to keep an eye on. And usually somebody who was next to him would just kind of go, okay, okay, let me know. So we're always helping and watching over each other.
Noticed you were always saying that 3 breaths in, 4 breaths out.
Yeah.
And so what I found, right, so then I started watching myself, and I have a hard time with deep breath and going, you know,
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
here, but it comes out much quicker.
Yeah, yeah.
And so then it reminded me of the first technique I was having physical therapy with Christian Dusty, I think technique. And he taught me, I had to fill my back a little.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then he said, put your blowing out.
Right.
And when, so I started blowing out.
There you go. Yep, 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 yep. Good suggestion. And as I say, it just takes a little practice. And as long as you're playing in the sense of 4, wow, I'm just going, it's gone, you know. And that's kind of what happens to the chi then. The chi just kind of goes, oh yeah, I got that. And then it's like, what happened? But if you're in and then consciously, and that's why the hands are used in these practices to help you guide the breath in and guide the breath out. And when you get down, as I say, we can do this slight pause along the line. Andrew Weil has another counting technique for breathing. He will do 4 counts inhalation, 7 counts hold. 8 counts exhale. So the exhale is really, really important, you know, in terms of emptying out all the carbon dioxide. And most people, when they breathe, they only breathe from here anyway. Breath in, breath out, breath in, breath out. And in the longevity of that breath, you know, your time is getting shorter and shorter. But what starts to happen as you get more and more comfortable with your practice is that you're washing dishes and you're going, there's my breath. Wow, I'm actually doing the right breathing technique. And it starts to become part of your everyday. And that's the notion from many of these meditation teachers is how do we integrate these practices? How do we integrate our breath into this? How do we stay within this meditative place that we are practicing and enjoying with our Tai Chi, and that we don't just walk out the door and go, well, that was good. What's next? I'm going to go get some lunch. I think I should have some soup. I'm hungry. God almighty. And there goes that sound of the voice in the head again, instead of getting to the hallway and going, and you know where the door is, and you get out the door, and now you're looking at the steps, and you go, oh, count steps. Good. And you're still integrated with your practice. That's when your practice starts to bloom from within. And Tai Chi is the blooming from within. So let's do then these 3 standing postures that we worked on last time. Yeah, it's the when I do these outside, we sort of end up in one direction, then we change to get to the other direction. So we'll change it around too. So if you have some space between the heel on one foot as the toe is turned out, and I step forward comfortably, and then a little bit more, and turn that toe inward, I can see I've got one or two boards between the toe and the heel on my foot. And so if I bend my front knee, I can still see the toe on my front foot. Now you're a little wide, so you can go in a little bit and then a little bit longer, because you're in good shape for these kind of practices. And you should be in a place with that back leg that if I pick up my front leg, it's not that I'm just going to go, I'm going to pick up my front leg and my back leg is going to push my body forward. That's why I say there's a lot of juice in the legs and the foot. So they often, in this first posture called draw the bow, everybody gets involved in the bow up here. But this is the bow also in the legs. You can see here's the front of the bow, and here's the string. And the body just gets held forward. Okay, so we've got toe in and toe out, feet are basically parallel. And if I may, I'm going to demonstrate this again. If you have your foot in this position, almost straight, if I push you, you're going right through your knee. There's no muscle in there that's going to hold you. Turn your toe inward out there, and I start to push. Now don't go. Come back, push back. Now don't push it off. So much stronger in your stance for starters, right? If your toe is straight forward and you had an ice skate on, you would go straight through. But when you turn your toe in, your blade catches the ice and it starts to use as a brake. So you can stop your body. And that's what we want to do with this front leg, is stop the body's movement forward. And then at the same time, push down through that back leg and heel. Now there's a lot of energy that starts here, goes through the hips, goes through this lower dantian, yes? And then we add on the arms. So the first thing I like to do is reach back. There's a nice breath in. And then come back down with the breath out, breath in. And bring the hands, the back of the hands together and just go down, just past the knee. And then push the left side down a little bit, come up, push the right side down, left and right. And we're ready then to bring the hands, the thumbs, as if the thumbs are shining a light through the leg, through the thigh, through the groin, lower dantian, middle dantian. You see how the thumbs are coming right up through here? And I've got a light shining through the thumbs to go to the spine, to go to all the internal organs. So once again, my intention is clear that I'm working with bladder and with small intestine. I'm working with stomach. I'm working with the bronchi, the lungs, and then here's the glandular. Here's glandular as we come all the way up. And we have this connection then of each foot into the fingers and the heavens above. Right, notice how my thumbs are hooked. So when I'm up here, if I unhook my thumbs, my arms go out. If I don't have any energy in the thumbs, I unhook them and nothing happens. So I've got this little bit of a pull, 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 which is working all of these upper areas on the back and the chest. When I bring the hand down, then my left hand goes down and my right hand goes to my ear. And then I'm turning this fist upward a little bit. And then my head turns and I look at the fist. it's suggested sink the chest and round the back. So these are on the side. Your arms are going to be out the side here. And in Japanese archery, the bow is up here and the bow gets drawn down and then the arrow is released. So relax the elbow on the left side, relax the arm, fist upward, right? And then just let the elbow relax. And on that other arm, the hand comes up and not down this way. This gets you muscle. This gets you the feeling of extending upward. And it's very easy to hold this posture because the chi can move as opposed to holding this, because this is going to hurt within no time at all. But you open that hand up, push that hand upward, and you have a nice feeling of drawing the bow from here.
So the thumb is going out.
The thumb is on the inside of the hand, not on the inside, on the fingers,
on the
that way.
fingers.
Yeah. And just turns upward. I just started going to an archery range just in the last week, and they've got these new bows, these compound bows. And when you pull them back, you actually, I was so happy, you actually turn your fist into this position when you're shooting these compound bows. And they have a couple of different releases, a couple of different things that help you to pull the string. It's a clamp that goes onto the string. There's a little loop on the string, and you start to pull it back, and you're not using your fingers to do this. You're using your wrist to do it, and it pulls the bow back, and then you have a release either with your thumb or with your finger. And so here you are, standing on the archery range, shooting the bow from these old traditions of Bodhidharma. And I'm like, dude, this is my style. And you go, ching, and man, that arrow goes out. The arrow, this guy has a measuring device for it, right? The arrow leaves your bow at 154 feet per second. 120 miles an hour. 120 miles an hour. And you just go, bam, bam, and it hits the target. And you go, yeah, there, yeah. Yeah, and so the thing that he actually said to me was, put your nose on the string. So when I go in to draw the bow here, I now go, get your nose on your fist, even more so. Now drop the elbow so you can relax this arm and shoulder. You don't want this. This just locks up the chi. It's the same thing, strong arm, yes. No strength, chi is moving. Yeah. And what he said, the other suggestion was, you're holding your bow too tight. Relax your hand. And I'm like, oh, is this so perfect? Here's the real application of draw the bow with all these fine points of turn the nose to the fist, get this sense of relaxation in the arms and the hands. Now, in my class with my Kung Fu teacher in Taiwan, teacher Dale, we as a class would line up and he would go, yep. And he would come along and he would start with putting it from chest. And he'd come along and he'd go. Same idea. Here we are swinging, patting the body, waking the body up, enlivening the chi in the body. He would also go along and from the backside, he would do the shoulders because we always carry too much stuff in our shoulders. So we can do this ourselves, if I don't kill myself doing it. Take your arm elbow. And notice how much room, how much easier it is to move your arm. You can get way back on your back. And you twist your own back. Listen to the sound here again. If I'm just doing this, but if I'm doing this, there's a resonance to that sound. There's a vibration going through the whole body. And then go down the arm. Inside of the arm, some channels. Outside of the arm, other channels. So I'm trying to touch all these areas. I'm trying to wake everything up inside. Back of the hand, palm of the hand, and then take that other hand, elbow, reach back, and pat, pat, pat. So you should be crossing over. Is that right? That looks right, I guess. Yeah, there you go. Now you're crossing over and you get real easy with that hand and elbow to reach way down into this lower area on the scapula. And this is that area that we have talked a little bit about, which is the Taoist point for curing 100 problems for the body. Hey, pat yourself on the back. You just did a good job. Took care of 100 problems. Go down into the shoulders, go down into the arm, inside of the arm, outside of the arm. This actually was referred to in some of the Kung Fu training as iron shirt or iron palm training. Iron shirt being the notion that you can get hit, you can fall off your bicycle and go, wow, I didn't even get hurt. Because you know how to get the energy to this area, and your body's used to some of these feelings of impacting, and you go, I didn't even get hurt. Is that possible? And that's a great stretch. We've done that one in class with this stretch of taking it all the way across and coming all the way back and around. Yes, yes, absolutely, a great stretch. But what we're trying to work with on this is the notion of how to stimulate these points in the body with your own hands. And if you're able to do this, you're going to have far fewer joint problems. You're going to have far fewer health issues. And in China, I was starting these classes in my 30s. And most times people were coming into the class, new students were coming into the class, they were already in their 60s, their 70s, and their 80s. Not unusual to see older people in their 80s just starting these practices. So take heart, because you will find that you will start feeling like, geez, I'm only in my 70s now. I forgot I'm in my 60s. God, I carried enough pots down the hill the other day to make me go, I'm in my 30s again. So these are longevity exercises, and they really do work to, how do you feel right now? Things are starting to really buzz, right? So let's go into that first part then of draw the bow once more. We start with reach back. Here we're opening up this area on the chest. The lower dantian is going to get involved, especially as we go down. I can feel that stretch across the kidneys and across the shoulders, front and back of the same dantian areas. Coming back up and energizing from the thumbs, energizing through the organs, the glands, the sense organs, the third eye. Heaven and earth now connects through my body. Practicing now, I have some beautiful redwoods that I look at as I'm standing here going, oh, me and the redwoods, I got you. And then separate, and that left hand comes down, soft and relaxed, and the right hand comes down and closes near the ear. No feeling of pulling down, more of a feeling of pushing upward. So let this fist come this way. Yeah. And now you're shooting towards the mirror. You're shooting at yourself in this lovely target practice. And then notice if you want to get your nose onto your fist, it's hard to get the neck there by itself, right? But if I use my hip, and now we start to work with the lower dantian. And this is the place where all of our energy is happening from. So I can get that last part of nose onto hand, the other hand up above. Then as we're standing here, we take the head turned back to the right. There's center. Keep the head turning, turning, turning. Now it's as far as I can go with my head turning, but my eyes can still turn to the right more. And so I keep looking back, looking back. I see pink pants, I see door, I see the clock. And now that's as far as I can go now. I release the eyes and I start letting them return slowly back to the windows, back to the TV screen, back to the wall. Now back to the fist and back to the nose. So you're holding this for a little bit, and again, Dao-Da-Sen would come along and be beating on us and making sure that we were practicing well. And then you take the arms out to the side and open the palms. You go, oh, wow. Is there a lot of energy in your palms right now? Twist them upward and backward just a little bit. Opens the chest a little more, the lungs, the throat. And then let them go down slowly. The thing's alive in there. You feel like you've had some exercise. Reach back once more and do this whole sequence once more. Reach back, breathe in, breathe out. Relax, breathe in. Tongue pushes up on the roof of the mouth as we breathe in. Opens up the throat, opens up the nose. And then bring the back of the hands as we breathe out. Left and right as breath is out. Coming up the thumbs, past the knee, through the groin, lower, middle, and upper dantian. Thumbs connecting, slight pull. Breathe in. Turn the body to the right. Twist through the spine. The core level of your body is now being accentuated. Come back with that right hip and once more draw the bow. Turn the hip in and down. It's kind of like screwing yourself down into the ground a little bit. And there's where the nose can come out to the fist. And then we go to horse steps. So we're going to end up on the wrong side for just a moment. So my left heel, I've got weight on my right foot, so my right heel can turn and my left toes can turn, and I can slide them up into being square. And then I can bring the They didn't come and get us this time either. So now turn around back to the mirror. And I'm going to take you through that from the same position. End up now facing the mirror. So I've screwed myself down into the ground and through my feet and my hips. And now my right heel draws, draw the right heel up. Bring the left toes around as that left fist goes through. And the right hand goes up and covers my head on line with the ear, and the left fist goes through as a fist, as if I was punching and blocking. And I'm just sitting here, and this hand is far enough away from the head this way, so that if it does get pushed, because I have this extension outward, the hand doesn't just push my hand right into my head. If somebody was hitting me with a board or hitting me with something, my hand will allow that to hit and roll off. So this angle is very important. You don't want it too flat this way, otherwise it's taking the full blow. But when it's turned, it slides these things off, and you can even accentuate that by kind of meeting it and dropping it off to the side. And maybe if it's an arm, taking the arm and going, thank you. Wow. Did that just put you in an awkward position? So this is horse stance from this Gofu tradition. And now we're going to do this where we take this right hand, go up and back. Can you get all the way back? It's a little turn through the waist. And then the hand comes through and it picks that other hand up and it picks your body up. And we go up and up and up. And now the hands act as that same kind of thumb. Little bit of push. And then, which foot did we have forward? Left foot was forward. Good. So we can go right toe. Adjust that foot around because you got to get some space. I didn't just go foot and twist because I'm on the same board almost. I'm going foot and twist and adjust outward a little bit. And now I can go from here. I can turn back once more, get that core line of twist, come down and draw the bow on the other side. There we go. Yeah. Bend that front knee, look down and see where your toe is. You want to be just engaged in that front leg at least. Screw down through the hip, down into the foot. And now my nose is on line with my fist. If you want to check that, close your right eye, close your left eye. The fist does not move very much. This is a parallactic shift that happens between the left and right eye. This is why we have depth perception in the brain. But if the fist doesn't move much, it means your head is in a good position then. And then we do the same thing. Take the left arm out to the side, open the fingers, gather all that heavenly chi. Release the tension in the chest and the shoulders, all the way down. Wiggle, wiggle, shoulders, waist. Relax, relax. Breath in, breath out, and we reach back, breath in. Fingertips all touching, evening the energy at all the fingers, tips. And back down, back of the hands together on the front, going down with the breath out. Down left and down right. Nice twist. You can feel in the low back. Very gently, nice twist. As we come back up, shining that light through the thumbs again, through all the organs. Brain lighting up, the whole body lighting up. There's the thumbs connecting, slight pulling. Nice breath in. And once more, draw the bow. Let the eyes pick up that fist. And you should be on the other side. Yeah, there you go. It's right foot, right hand. And we can do that again. Extend that left hand out. Gather all that heavenly chi. Feel it going third eye, heart, palms, under the arms, into the upper back, down through the kidneys, down to each foot. Oh, whole body. Release the arms and let them drop slowly. And we'll review that once more. We'll go on to horse stance from this side. So we come up, gather all that energy, all that light inside the body, draw the bow to the right. Now we're going to turn that left heel, bring the right toes around and draw the toes up a little bit so we can go into block and strike on this side. So let that hand come up and over, right over the top of the head, but in front. So I can still see my fist up here. And this time we'll take that left hand up and back and down and up. Back to cross hands, right toes, two fists going up. It's called cannon fist. They're below, they're at the nose level. You can see over the top of those two cannonballs. And we go down and around. Now my toe turned, my other foot followed. And we're coming back to fighting tiger at side. Now we're getting this nice stretch out through the hip. Bent knee, straight knee. Not locked, but straight. Straight fist, and that same sort of curved up block over the hip. Heel comes in, goes around. How simple it is to go from this side to this side without having to go one side, heel, heel, and we're in left and right side, fighting tiger at side. So those are the first three we talked about. We did those three, and then I put everybody to a wall for comfort. We're going to go into Golden Rooster stands on one foot. So move over towards a wall. And Golden Rooster is basically, I'm going to do the other side first. The inside leg comes up. Yeah, so left foot, knee, hip, shoulder, elbow, hand. And this is a really nice way to begin to create the ability to improve your balance, as well as strengthen your left leg, strengthen up through the hip, the glutes. Then draw them down slowly. Turn. And we go right leg, left leg inside, right arm upward. Tuck down through the coccyx a little bit, tuck the chin a little bit. And if you can let the toe almost touch the kneecap. That means you brought the knee, your left knee is up. You're bringing your left knee into your center line. Now that knee becomes a protector against the kick. And then back down we go. That's fine. No, exactly. But you get the idea that this stance then gives you an opportunity to work with your balance. And it becomes then practice where you're standing with the arm in that same position again, called Golden Rooster Stands on One Leg. But I try to make this easy for people to begin with because it has been found in this country that most people cannot stand on one leg for 30 seconds, which shows a lot of nerve damage on the brain and all the other connectors of the body. So if we keep working on this, practicing this one stance over time, the nerves in the body and the brain are greatly improved. One hand is here at the ear and one hand is up. So if I'm standing on my right leg, my right hand is up, my left hand is at my ear. And you can do this when you start the next level away from the wall, where you just touch the toe lightly to the ground. Then that right knee, the leg you're standing on, just bend it a little bit. Don't stand on a stick. It's a nice soft leg. And then I can bring that other leg up and I can help myself find my balance. And if you just let your eyes find one place out there, the mind starts to quiet down and you stop going, I'll never be able to hold my balance. This is so hard to do. You just let your eyes watch, and all of a sudden the mind goes, oh, you're doing it. You're actually doing it. But when you do it at the wall, get that same sense of joy. Wow, I'm eventually going to be able to do that. But when you bring your knee into the center line, this way, I'm hiding behind that. So I have kick go in, I can hide behind that. If I open this leg up, well, we don't need to talk about that, do we? And if you can get that toe to go towards your knee, that'll bring your leg up a little more and then bring that knee in towards the center. So there's a feeling of like this inside the posture. And now you're back at this core level of the body holding the stance. You don't feel like it's your arms or leg. It feels like the whole core is just connected. And that's the fourth of these stances. Yeah, so be sure that you don't arch back onto it. Be sure that you tuck down through the coccyx so that you're bringing that energy up and not having to go in and then up. That's why I say sometimes it's really helpful just to put one hand up on the wall, because then you can go, oh, that's what he's saying, tuck under here. And that's really going to strengthen the glutes and strengthen those muscles in the low back and actually help to prevent low back injuries or help to heal those injuries up. And exactly what you were just doing. This is a movement that's done in the Tai Chi form called Golden Rooster stands on the left and right leg. You start to get it coming out of golden snake slides down and coming up and going, wow, I got that today. And I'm down and I'm coming up again and I'm going, oh, look it, I did it. And you can really enjoy the fact that you succeed in your practice. There's nothing more stimulating, more joyful than to get it. But that becomes then Golden Rooster in its simplicity. I was playing with a friend of mine who was a Green Beret in Vietnam and a very high-ranking belt in whatever martial art he was studying. And so he's about 6'3", 240 pounds, big guy. So we're dancing, we're having fun, we're just feeling each other out. And he goes in, and he comes back out. And he comes in, and I go like this, and I go down, and he goes, and all of a sudden I'm coming up. And he goes, I've never seen anything like that before. So this kind of training in its simplicity, also is a very, very powerful self-defense, especially for women. Because you have this grace, you have this ability, this limberness in your body that you could go just down to here. And the attacker most likely is going to go, she's mine. And all of a sudden you come up, and this fist and this foot come up, and they're going, that was a bad choice. All right. So we've done draw the bow, horse, fighting tiger at side, and golden rooster standing on one leg. Okay. Now these are called the 8 stances. So there's actually 4 more. But other than this stance, these first 5 stances are considered 2-leg stances, right? So the last stance is where we get to actually practice this one of snake slides down. If we've gone from golden rooster stands on one leg, I can come down, I can go down, and I can come up into the last of these. Rise up and look at harvest moon. So here's these clouds in the sky. Here's this beautiful full moon rising on the horizon. Extend out through the hip, the back leg to the fist. And then I can change to the other side. Here's what we do with our brush knee, one hand and one hand. We turn and we go back down. You don't have to do the going down, but for people who are able to, then you start to work on how do you bring all of this energy up out of the earth. So you could go from down to here and come up, that's fine. Change, come to here again, the other side. Don't make it too physically demanding. But for people who are advanced or more into these practices, this gives you a chance to really work with something that gives you this full range of motion, this full range of body, agility, strength. So these are the first 5 stances. And I gave that notion, that story that Bodhidharma was an Indian saint back in the, might have been the 700s to 600s, who crossed the river riding on a reed and went to China, and met with the emperor and fell in disfavor with the emperor, escaped the wrath of the emperor and hid out at the Shaolin temples. This is the beginning of Shaolin Kung Fu. Bodhidharma is said to have sat in the cave at the temple for 9 years before he decided he was safe and he could come out. And so when he came out, he looked at the monks who were there to meditate, and their meditation generally sounded and looked like. And he said, how can you meditate if you have no chi, if you have no strength, if you have no intention? And so he taught these monks these 8 stances. And as a result, the monastery flourished, and martial artists from all over came to and shared all of this lovely information with one another. Beautiful, beautiful thoughts that, and again, these were teachers who taught standing postures, and because of the teaching of the standing postures, their work in moving Kung Fu and in Tai Chi was so much more vibrant, so much more alive. So these were said to be truly the most basic part of your training. And My last teacher, Adam Shu, was the one who clearly said, most people cannot do the basics. They're trying to learn what he called the PhD level of doing Tai Chi, but they didn't even know the most basic part of it. But if you learn the basic, then your Tai Chi suddenly becomes something worthy of calling Tai Chi. Any thoughts, any questions on any of that? As I say, I wanted to put a week into this, a couple of weeks into this, to get you to the place where you can really do these on your own at home. Sometimes you can be cooking at the stove and you go, the kettle's boiling. A watch kettle does boil. And you can take the kettle off and then you can pour your tea. And then you can take your teacup and go, now that's a cup of tea. Thank yourself for a good practice this morning. Thank you for coming. Carry all that out there with you into the world. Thank you. See you hopefully next week. Yeah, you can make some good tea that way, huh? And that's a good place to go with that beautiful rock out there. Oh, yeah. You got to get away while you can.